My name's Ted Schwartz, and I wrote a book called Gray Matters, a biography of brain surgery.
What should we know about brain surgery and brains?
Well, one of the important things I talk about is the fact that we've only been doing brain surgery for about 120 years. And 120 years ago, 50% of the people died just from having surgery. And I tell the story about how that progressed to what we do now, where we can implant brain-computer interfaces in the brain to take people's thoughts outside of their brains to control computers. And really that has been a remarkable progression that few people really know about. And I tell my own story, what the training is like, what it was like to learn how to become a brain surgeon, and what it's like to practice brain surgery and have people's lives in their hands.
Now, I have a strange question.
Okay.
I actually slipped and fell and hit my head and walked out of my body for 2.5 years. And had major brain injury.
Wow. Yeah.
And had to deal with cognitive therapy and everything else. A lot of people have this happen to them, whether they're playing football or other things. What would you have to say to them?
Well, in the book I write a lot about concussion, and a lot about blunt head trauma, and I write about the NFL and how the NFL dealt with the whole chronic traumatic encephalopathy problem that they had to deal with. But the brain heals itself. What I would say is that if you have a concussion, most people get better. If you rest for long enough, you will get better. But we really don't have a good treatment for concussion except for rest. My name's Ted Schwartz, and I am a brain surgeon, and I wrote about brain surgery. So it's an insider's view of what is it like to be a brain surgeon, to do what we do, to think like we think, how do we see the world, and I just tell stories that we all know as brain surgeons that the public does not know, and try to tell them in a fun, engaging way. So I think you'll really enjoy the book.
Thank you.
Got hit in the head. I think if she's getting better, then she doesn't really need to do anything. She'll probably just get better.
She can't do math anymore.
Really? Like zero math?
No, she just isn't as good at it.
Well, how long ago was she hit in the head?
She got hit in the head about 3 weeks ago.
So it's still early. I would give it more time. She just needs to rest. She'll get better.
Can we contact you for a referral?
Absolutely.
How do you do that?
You can look me up online.
Dr. Vasquez Del Valle. The book is Head, Heart, Crotch Connections, How Not to Fail in Search of Your Perfect Union. The subtitle is How Not to Fail because there's tons of books written about how to succeed, but never anything about how relationships fail and how not to fail. Because if you don't know how a relationship can fail, you don't know how it can succeed.
What's your number one tip for people?
My number one tip for people is to be able to identify your mental, emotional, and physical connections to your partners. And more importantly, what is your partner's connection to you? Because most people don't ask their partner, what is it that their partner admires about them? They just take it for granted. And they're very surprised, like in therapy, when you ask the partner what is it that they like, it's totally different than what the patient thinks the partner likes. So then we work on improving. If it's a lack of the mental connection, you got to work on that. If it's a lack of a sexual connection, you got to work on that. But if your partner's thinking he doesn't have a heart connection and you think he does, you're off. So you have to be in balance with your partner. And that's the trick, why I titled it My Head, Heart, Crotch Connection.
I take it you are a therapist and help people as well.
For 44 years I've been a therapist. South?
Do I get a refund?
I worked for 30 years for the State Office of Mental Health. I retired with them, and now I'm doing private practice with the East Hampton Healthcare Foundation, the East Hampton Family Medicine Clinic. So, yeah.
Thank you.
My name is Dr. Ramani Durvasula.
Dr. Ramani.
And my book, It's Not You, is about healing from a narcissistic relationship. Just about everyone has got one narcissistic person in their lives, and healing is no joke. This book is my attempt to give a compassionate guide, whether you stay in a relationship or leave. It's meant to help you heal your heart, your mind, and your soul.
And where do you practice?
I practice in Los Angeles.
Where?
Los Angeles, California. Kind of a mothership of narcissism.
Do you live in the area?
Richard Brockman, and the book is called Life After Death, Surviving Suicide. Actually, it's really about resilience. It's about strength. It's not actually a downer. It's actually a wonderful beach read.
Did you go through life after death?
In a different sense. It's about my mother's suicide. So it's after her death, not mine. Hers.
So it's surviving other people's suicide.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do this, and I don't know how to do dialogue.